Welcome to another edition of New York Giants football talk. Monday night, October 21st. Uh, Rough one yesterday. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But first things first, let's say hello to my good friend and co-host, Paul Rosen. How are we doing tonight, Paul?
I'm doing well tonight to differentiate from yesterday, which is as a Giants and Mets fan, not a good day overall, but I'm doing well. How are you, Kenny?
Good. Let me congratulate you on a successful New York Mets season. This is New York Giants, but let's get the Mets. Congratulations to the Mets. Congratulations to mine, Joey Clams, Yankees making it to the World Series. One more step, and we get that next World Series. Let's hope we get there. Big
Yes, sir.
congratulations to the New York Liberty for winning the WNBA title last
Yeah,
week. So
yeah.
let's go, New
Congratulations to
York.
them.
New York
Yep.
sports are looking good. Knicks are starting tomorrow, with the exception of the show we're doing tonight, the New York Giants. Um, New York Giants and the New York Jets are both struggling. So we got the Knicks. We got the Knicks starting tomorrow. But in the meantime, Paul, we're going to talk New York Giants for the next hour, and we're going to be here, answering questions and breaking down the game and the upcoming game against the Steelers. So we're going to get going there. And there's Eddie Murphy saying at least the Liberty won a title. Was a fun game. He watched that over the Sunday night football game. So thanks,
Very
Eddie, for
good.
sharing that.
Hey, Eddie.
And yeah, Liberty winning their first title. Congratulations. But all right, Paul, you want to get right into a little short recap of yesterday's disaster?
Yep. Might as well.
I'm gonna respectfully hand you the mic first.
Oh, gee, thanks very much. You're a peach, Kenny. I'll remember that. Anyway, we're making jokes, but the joke is on us because right now this New York Giants football team is a disaster. We tell it like it is here, good, bad, uh, up, down, another total embarrassment. We had circled this date, October 20th, when the schedule came out because of one man, Saquon Barkley, going down to our most hated rivals, probably the Philadelphia Eagles. And once again, the Giants didn't let us down. It was a total embarrassment. We were totally outplayed, totally outcoached, uh, totally outclassed. And the unfortunate aspect was that the Eagles team has not been playing that well. And for them to come into the Meadowlands and do what they did to the Giants just says this team is a disaster right now. And it's right up and down. The team, the coaches, the whole organization has to answer for it. And it quite honestly doesn't look like it's getting any better.
No, and I agree, Paul. And you know, we had our little. We went over our agenda and some questions we wanted to throw in. So I said, I want to find the right spot to answer these questions, whether it might be at the beginning of the show, the end of the show, middle portion of the show. Eddie Murphy's comment. We're gonna get to the question you had because of this comment from Eddie, and I love it because we're all on the same page here, Eddie. Eddie Murphy says he feels like this is the part where the defense is going to start giving up because DJ can't get the ball in the end zone. Paul, you had a question about one of the guys I truly love on our defense, Tay Banks, and Eddie's out there
Yeah.
listening. I know other people will be coming in soon. Give people a chance. But why don't you throw that question out and what you saw
Yeah.
yesterday while Eddie's out there writing about the defense?
Yeah. Thanks, Eddie, because there was another aspect that goes beyond just the downs and playmaking of the team. My question to Kenny and to everyone out there is, what did you think of the thought that Deontay Banks essentially gave up on one particular play? There was a scramble by Jalen Hurts in the third quarter, and with an opportunity to tackle Jalen Hurts, he let him go by and he ultimately ran out of bounds. He picked up a first down. I believe it was a 16-yard scramble, and ultimately the Eagles scored another touchdown on a tush push by Jalen Hurts. The troubling aspect to this is the second time this season that Banks has sort of given up. And I don't want to use the Q word, but I'll just say the idea that he may have quit for the second time on a play earlier in the Cowboy game a few weeks ago. There was a 55-yard touchdown to CD Lamb, you might remember, and he gave up going after and pursuing CD Lamb, and Lamb basically walked in for the touchdown. So I guess my question is, what do you think of that circumstance of him essentially not trying to tackle Jalen Hurts with an opportunity to stop him and maybe preventing another touchdown by the Eagles?
I have a problem with it. And I'm a Banks fan, and I have a problem with it. And I want to see different angles because, the angle we see, he stopped. And I'm not making an excuse up for him, but is there another angle maybe where it looks like, oh, the other defenders are there? Why am I going to put, my body out there if my teammates are there to tackle him? I'm not saying that's the case. I want to see a different angle. I want to see that, but there's no excuse for it. Okay, if you're down on your coach and the coach lost the locker room, which you're going to get into Dable in a few minutes, you're still playing with 11 other teammates on the field on defense, and you need to be a professional and not give up on any plays. Uh, if not for Dable, then for your teammates. And that's what I saw yesterday from the angle we saw was he gave
Mm-hmm.
up on the play. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of that. We've all played sports at different levels, and you don't give up no matter how bad you are or how much how bad things are, and how much you may not like somebody, or if the coach lost the locker room, you're still going to put in an effort for your fans and for your teammates. So totally not good with Eddie Murphy, with Banks did. But Eddie Murphy's also saying he just stood there on tush pushes as well. I'll have to go back and look at that because that is a problem. And I don't care if you're at a lockdown corner. If you're gonna lay back and not put in an effort, he needs to be benched. Maybe for a quarter, maybe for a half. Things are bad as it is. We don't need our star players to start giving up. I got
Yeah,
a question from Joe. Yeah, I just want
if
to
I
get
could
a
just
closer.
respond.
Yep, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Um, on that standing around on the tush push, I happen to see that also, Eddie. So yes, that was a good point. And the other thing about that play, I read that he claimed he thought Hertz was going to slide. I watched that play two or three times. There was no indication that Hertz was about to slide on that play. So whether he wants to admit he was wrong, he should have went after him and attempted to tackle him, but Hurts stayed on his feet and Banks stayed on his feet. So that's a feeble excuse in my mind.
Couple more comments and then a question. So we got Eddie saying, I don't know how it affect the payroll, but this offseason we released Daniel Jones, which is a no-brainer, but trade for Stafford or get a veteran in draft a quarterback in this draft. So Eddie wants, we'll get to the quarterbacks because that's where the question is with Jody. So we'll segue right into that. But Cody's saying hello. He would move Tracy to RB1 and move on from Daniel Jones. Giants defense started off hot, but yeah, they gave up. But with the offense, given that the state it's in, the defense takes that personal. Defense needs offense. Offense's help to keep them motivated.
Yeah.
Well said. I do agree with that, Cody. And Jody Moncrief, our good friend over there in
Hey,
Rocky Mountain
Jody.
Sports Network, Denver Bronco Roundup. You could check him out with Keith Brugman, Trevor Salzman, and Albert Knoppers on Tuesday nights, Friday nights, post-game shows on Sundays. At least your Broncos are going in the right direction. They're 4-3. Congratulations on season so far out there. He wants to know how big of a problem is quarterback for the Giants.
It's a big problem. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They know us by now. It's a tremendous problem when you have your prize number one receiver, the kid after 2 weeks being out in concussion protocol comes back, and they asked him what was different in the second half, and he tells you, "I was open." Well, you know what? That's a big damn problem that your quarterback. And admittedly, I will say, the offensive line was horrible. They allowed 8 sacks. Kenny and I had talked about it before the show. The Eagles came in with 11 sacks the whole season so far. They almost matched that in yesterday's game. So the O line was like a sieve. But you have your number one receiver, your prize rookie, who's out there, and he is open, and they can't get him the ball. Well, I say that's a big problem by the in the quarterback room right now.
Couple comments from Eddie. His first one: I was told by all coaches growing up uh, that you play until the whistle. If you hit him when he slides, at least you're not quitting. And then this one from Eddie: Dable said Malik was open all game. So even Brian Dable's saying it, Paul. So not
Yeah.
just Malik Neighbors. And my thing on the quarterback, and then I think the way the chat is going, I think we'll get into the coaching. I think we'll do that next. But my take on the quarterback play is it's bad, but it also means change some play calls, run the ball a little bit, call a screen. This is an aggressive defense. They sacked you 8 times in the damn game. Who knows how many pressures? And you got Tyrone Tracy, who's a receiver converted running back, and you don't throw any not bubble screens, but a little like pass in the flat, catch them off guard, throw a screen pass, and maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't, but you got to keep this defense honest. And it
Hmm.
just looked like not only the defense gave up, the offense gave up, and the coaching staff gave up in this game. So it just looked like everybody gave up in this game. It looked like the game very similar last year when Tommy DeVito came in and all we did was run the ball, never didn't throw any passes. Kind of had that feeling this game yesterday. There was like no lack of effort after. I think it was after the first quarter when the Eagles scored their first touchdown. I think that's when the effort started going away, and when the touchdown got called away from Theo Johnson, it was
Hmm.
over.
Yeah, the
Mark
air was
Mark
let
saying
out.
hello, our fellow
Hey,
Giants
Mark.
fan,
You
and
you know,
Eddie's saying ran the ball 4 times in the first half.
Kenny. Speaking of second half, the Eagles knew they could run the ball at will against the Giants. They gave up. They passed the ball 4 times in the second half, knowing they didn't have to pass the ball. All right. The Giants allowed, I think, over 250 yards to the Eagles' rushing attack yesterday, which is pathetic. They
Yeah,
knew they had every opportunity to run the ball and didn't have to pass the ball. You tell me how a defense, knowing they were going to run the ball, they couldn't stop them at all.
a couple more comments. Cody saying Barkley had a point to make. That didn't help. Eddie saying I think it meant I mentioned it last week. Andrew with Thomas being out, DJ was going to play scared as well. Uh, Barkley had more yards than our whole offense. Eddie Murphy's saying.
By a lot.
And our good friend Michael Ronquillo, everybody's friend Michael Ronquillo. Hey, Kenny and Paul with the blue and white heart
Hey,
emojis. Thanks, Michael.
hey,
Michael's a big
Michael.
Bronco fan, and we appreciate you hanging out with us, Michael.
Yeah, I
Always
mean,
greatly appreciate it.
the Giants had 119 yards in total offense. Is That's not offensive? 119 yards. They're averaging 14.7 yards points per game, which is second worst in the NFL. They're averaging less this year with better players than they were last year. I mean, how is that possible? And that, like you said, with coaching, Dable's the play caller. So how is that possible at this point in the
Right.
year?
Question. Here's a hypothetical question. First part isn't best defense of all time. 85 Bears.
Probably.
Would this
Or
team?
the Ravens, the 2000 Ravens.
Let's go 85 Bears.
Okay.
would this New York Giants offense have positive yards against the 85 Bears? Think about it. 119 yards against this Eagles defense that's
Yeah,
been struggling.
yeah,
We might have negative 19 yards against the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens.
yeah.
It's that bad.
It's a very, very unfortunately funny question because it's pathetic that we might not have any yards against a team like that. Yeah. And in this open NFL offensive time to have 119 yards, it's astonishing to me. There's no other word. I mean, it's pathetic that somehow they can't generate more offense with supposedly NFL quality players. It's
Yeah.
just unbelievable to me.
Jody's asking, why is Andrew Thomas always hurt? Jody, I don't know why he's always hurt. That's hard to answer that. But I will say it's becoming a liability because if he's our anchor on our offensive line and he's always hurt, we're in trouble. So I don't know how, what the plan is, but it's bad when your top offensive lineman goes out. It's very hard to replace. It's the second hardest position, in my opinion, to replace after quarterback by far.
Let me ask you a question,
His
Kenny.
left tackle. Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's pose this question. They replaced Andrew Thomas with Josh Izudu, a 2022 third round pick who was actually drafted as a guard. They moved him out to left tackle. He's played left tackle last year a little bit when Andrew Thomas was hurt. He clearly was overwhelmed yesterday, allowed a couple of sacks. No one can argue that the left tackle position is the most important offensive line position. Do you think the Giants should move the right tackle, the Raider, ex-Raider, uh, Jermaine Illuminor to left tackle, and at this point put in back at right tackle, Evan Neal, former number one pick, who's been quite frankly a disappointment, and let him play right tackle, and let's see what we have at this point?
Yeah, the way I'm going to answer this, Paul, is simple. So I could give you a simple yes or no, but I was like, I'll answer this in a funny way. We all did. We all had SAT tests back in high school, right? You get points for writing your name. Well, that's as easy one as writing your name on an SAT test. You pick this guy at number 7 in the draft. You can't get on the field. He should not be on this Giants team, period. And to not even like for Dable to say, "Oh, we're going to look and see," look at the situation with Azudu. If Evan Neal can't get on the field, goodbye. See ya. We made a mistake drafting this guy and we move on from him. But to keep this guy just sitting there doing nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and you wonder why. It can't get worse. It can't.
Yeah.
It can be equally as bad, but it can't get worse.
And I agree with you. And to use the Eagles as an example, the Jets let go of Mekhi Becton, uh, who they also felt was a failure. The Eagles pick him up, and rather than play him outside at offensive tackle, they moved him inside. And ironically, yesterday he got injured in the game, but he had been playing guard. He had been doing well, and he was a starter for the Eagles. I don't understand, and maybe someone can explain this to me. Neil, by all intents and purposes, has been a total bust at tackle. Why not move him to guard? And when that's been suggested or recommended, Joe Shane and Brian Dable have totally refused to even consider doing that. And I'm not understanding why that has occurred. If someone
Yeah.
can explain that to me, I would love to hear that.
I would love to hear it too. Let me catch up. We got a lot of comments and some
Sure.
questions. So let's catch up. We got Let's catch up here. Eddie Murphy, we had a good team in 2000. The Ravens defense almost shut us out. Mark saying absolutely 100. That was my thing on the minus negative yards if this offense faced the 85 Bears. Uh, Jody saying, why not try Neal at left tackle? We just talked about that. Eddie saying, left tackle was his position in college. Why not try him on Luminor? Uh, Eddie saying, you means Jets. Let's get him, Paul. And then we
I'm
got
sorry.
Keith.
What was that last comment?
You means Jets. Let's get him, Paul. I don't know, Eddie. Maybe that was a typo. Can you repeat that one? And we had a lot of comments, so that one might have got lost in the shuffle there.
Okay.
An aloha from Patrick over there in
Hey,
Hawaii. Aloha,
Patrick.
Patrick. Uh, Patrick, I know Paul's waiting for some coffee. I got to get you his address, my friend. Lion Coffee out there in Hawaii, and the Royal Kona, amazing stuff. And Patrick takes great care of us all over here. So we're very, very grateful for you, Patrick. Michael saying Giant fans deserve better. Eddie saying your reading is bad. It says you means Jets. Let's get them, Paul. I'm not my. my uh, I don't know what I'm seeing wrong there. I
You,
got my
you,
glasses on too.
you means Jets.
I
Let's
don't
go
know if
get them,
that.
Paul.
I don't know. But anyway, Keith Brugman, our good friend over there, Rocky Mountain Sports Network,
Hey,
along
Keith.
with Jody. We talked about Denver Bronco Roundup again Tuesday, Fridays,
Congratulations.
and Sundays. Congrats on your Bronco victory. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. What is the truth about this team that nobody wants to hear, Paul? You want me to go
That
first?
Go ahead. Be my guest.
We're going to be full blooded, full all in sellers, Paul. And I know you don't want to hear that neither because that means even Dexter Lawrence is on the trading block. And I don't want to see Dexter Lawrence go at any means, but everybody's available. This team is, might need a complete overhaul and rebuild and have multiple first round picks the next couple of years. So it means even our best going. So uh, anyway, so translation, you mean the Jets? Let's get them. Oh, okay. You mean the Jets? Let's let him go, Paul. All right, we're going on from that comment. I'm still lost on
Yeah.
it. Sorry, guys.
He must have a
Oh,
measure.
Jets let him go, Paul, is what it says.
Becton. Mackay Becton. Okay.
Yep.
Right. I know.
So
I know. I
yep.
realized that.
So what's yours, Paul? And then I'll get to more comments and more questions.
The truth is that I have to give credit where credit is due. Mr. One Kurt Valenti said the Giants were not going to have a good team. We're not going to be good. We're going to have a bad record, and I have to give him credit. And that's the reality right now. I don't see this thing turning around. I really don't. And we talked about looking at their schedule. Uh, we can take a look at their schedule, and maybe they have one game remaining on their schedule where I could say it could be a sure win. Other than that, I don't see them winning more than maybe one, maybe two games the rest of the season. So that's the reality and the truth about this football team.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that neither, Paul. Uh, Cody's saying at least the Browns fans knows Watson is gone and Nick Chubb found the end zone. Wish we had something positive like that we can say.
Mm.
Yep. There's Kurt Valenti. Kurt chiming in saying it's over for Dable and Shane. They are cooked, both of them. He's saying, "What's up, boys? Let's get to the Drew
Hey,
Lock
Kurt.
show. Tomorrow night it begins. Let's go Knicks." Yeah, we got the Knicks, Kurt. I got the
Yep.
Yankees still. Paul's Mets great season ended yesterday, but I still got hopes. The Yankees, uh, but the Knicks season starts tomorrow too. So New York fans got some football may not be going well, but you know what? It could be worse. And you say, how could it be worse? Well, you can be a Jets fan with that roster, and you're 2-5
Yeah.
with that roster. What next, Aaron Rodgers? What next? Who do you want next? You want you know who exactly? Like I can't think of anybody who's next. Like who are you gonna go get? You want to bring Travis Kelsey over? Get from the
Yeah.
Chiefs? What else? What else is he gonna? What's gonna be your excuse now? You
You
want to
know,
want Garrett Wilson gone?
they play the Patriots next week. If they lose to the Patriots, then all hell is breaking loose in Florham Park. Because if they can't beat the Patriots the way the Patriots have been playing, then they might as well hand in their man card because there's no excuse not beating the Patriots.
Let me ask you this one on Kurt. Kurt wants to bring Belichick in. They said Belichick wants Josh McDaniels as his offensive coordinator. Bring both in, let him take his quarterback first round. Rookie QB with Belichick and McDaniels. In his opinion, you win the division in 2 years.
Listen,
Hey,
at
I
this
don't
point,
disagree with that now.
yeah,
You
at,
asked me that 6 months ago, I'd say you're crazy, Kurt. We're going to
all right,
compete. Our defense is going to be good. We got Malik Neighbors. You asked me this 6 months ago, and I'm saying, Now I'm not against that move. I'm
yeah.
not.
This is we were talking again before the show. This is Dable's third year. This offense looks worse than it was to the first year when he was a rookie head coach. He's calling the plays. I mean, what part of this offense can't they get right? Everything, every aspect of it is bad. The play calling, the play selection, the passing offense. All we heard in training camp was we're going to be an explosive down the field team. When you have the last 2 weeks, it was bad enough against Cincinnati. Your longest play was 15 yards in this current NFL offense systems in the NFL. And yesterday, their longest play was 14 yards. I mean, are you kidding me? Even by accident, you can have a play longer than 14 yards. So something is wrong. Yeah, get them out of here. Clean slate. You bring Belichick in. I'm not the biggest what's his name?
McDaniels.
McDaniel fan, but you know what? It it could be worse. It could be you're talking about somewhat like insanity, doing the same thing over and over and trying expecting it to get a different result. So yeah, it can't be any worse than what's going on right now.
Absolutely. Uh, and here we go. I'm going to get this question from Keith. Are the Giants looking to go all in on a quarterback next year? I'll answer first, Paul.
Go ahead.
I just said, the truth. Your first question, Keith, I think the Giants are going to be big sellers. And you know what? If that, unfortunately, I hope not, that means Dexter Lawrence, for the right price, you want to give me two number ones for Dexter Lawrence, I got to think about it. Azeez Ojulari, Bobby Okereke, uh, just to name a couple, and the other guy I'm thinking of, uh, Darius Slayton. These are three guys that I think is a good chance could be on the move at the deadline. And Azeez Ojulari, you might get a second or third round for him. Bobby Okereke, I can't see anything less than a second round pick for him. And Darius Slayton, maybe a fourth or a fifth round pick for him. But those are three guys I'm seeing definitely going. And I would say definitely going all in on a quarterback next year and build draft picks. And the guy I'm telling everybody to go watch is Cam Ward from Miami. He looks and plays like Lamar Jackson. And if you could bring that into the NFL in our NFC East, you're competing with the Commanders with Jaden Daniels for the next 10 years on who's going to be the best quarterback in the NFC East. The other guys, Shador Sanders, talent, but in New York it might not be the right fit. And Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck, I got to see more of them. So I'm going all in on Cam Ward, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Miami fan. Go watch the tape on this kid. He's electric. What about you, Paul? You going all in on a quarterback next year?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest disappointments is the total irrelevance of the New York Giants now. No one ever brings them up as a consequential team. No one thinks of them as a big time organization anymore. And when you're talked about or disrespected because you're an awful organization for 10 years, you've got to do something. You've got to shake things up. And I think, Steve Tisch and John Mara sit there, especially losing the way they did to, once again, their hated rivals, the Eagles. Something has to be done to get this organization back in the spotlight. And if it means changing coaches and quarterbacks, I think they have to do that. They have to bring in somebody that's going to have that it factor. I think the Giant fans deserve it. The organization deserves it. And they've got to do something to shake things up. And if it means bringing in a new quarterback, whether it's Cam Ward or some other top name, then let's do it. At this point, it has to be done.
Couple comments. Mark thinks all the weight Dable lost went to his brain too. I like that, Mark. That's a good one. Uh, got a question from Keith. Got a question from Jody. Cody saying should have kept Tyrod Taylor at this point. Uh, Kurt doesn't want to give up any of the defensive ends, meaning Aziz Ojari, Dexter
Mm,
Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau. He's saying if you get Belichick, let Belichick coach this defense.
yeah, he's
And he
right.
thinks McDaniels is a top three offensive coordinator. Keyword offensive coordinator, not head coach. Coordinator. I agree he is a good coordinator. Of course, he's had Brady all them years. So, he's a good coordinator. I'm not going to say no to that. And 100% go get a quarterback in the draft, pick your guy, and go get him, whatever it costs.
Yeah.
Couple questions. We'll get Jody's first. Why is Jalen Hyatt not getting the ball? I can answer that. Can't. Simple, Jody. Don't have time to throw the ball, and Daniel Jones is not very accurate throwing the ball deep, and that's what Jalen Hyatt is as a deep threat. Do you
He
agree? Disagree, Paul?
I don't disagree. And then ironically, the one ball that they threw to him deep, he actually cracked his rib on that play. So he's injured. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to play, if he needs a flak jacket of some sort or some type of protection. But I know he got injured on that play, and I'm not sure what his status is for for next week is even.
It's amazing. Like we can go on and on about guys that in Dable's first year performed well. Isaiah Hodgins can't even get on the field on this offense, and he was a big reason why we got to the playoffs 2 years ago
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
3 years ago, I should say. You
Yep.
know, it
Agree.
doesn't make sense to me. This offense, you still got the same personnel, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I just don't understand it. Uh, we'll see, what happens in the upcoming weeks. But let's get Keith's question in, Paul, and then we can continue. We got about 20, 25 to 30 minutes left in the show. Would the Giants be interested in Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, whoever doesn't stay in Pittsburgh, or maybe Bryce Young?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about, well, I'll take Bryce Young first. We talked about Bryce Young. I don't know. I don't know if he's ever going to be an NFL quarterback. So let's put him aside. If they were to bring in Russell Wilson, I would then definitely draft a young quarterback and do what they did with Eli. Have a guy like Kurt Warner, aka Russell Wilson, play him a little bit with the idea that at some point then you start the rookie and let him hopefully mentor him a little. I would take, I think, Russell Wilson being able to mentor a rookie that you're going to draft as opposed to Justin Fields at this point, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, and I would agree with you, Paul. I think I'm on the same page with Russell Wilson. Give him a 2 year contract. He comes to New York with his wife, who's got ties in New York, and he retires out here in New York because he is getting older. He doesn't have many years left. Hey, we'll give you a 2 year contract to be the quarterback and develop our future. our future guy. And, if he accepts that, he accepts that. If he doesn't, he goes and finds another team. So
Yeah.
I would do that as well. Uh, hey, it's only one game, but he looked pretty good yesterday. So it's only one game, though. So I don't want to get, too excited about it. But, Steelers seem to push all the right buttons and we push all the wrong ones. And we'll get to that in a couple minutes because we are facing those Steelers this week. But I want to talk about Brian Dable real quick, Paul. We won't take too much more time on this. Is his job safe? And what I mean by safe is not off season, he gets fired. Is his job safe for the remainder of this year? You personally know John Mara. You've known him in the past. You know John. And is this something that he would do if this team really fell off of the cliff?
Yeah. You know, a lot of what John does, he took from his father, Wellington. And one of the things that Wellington hardly ever did was terminate head coaches during the season. It rarely, if ever, happened. But I know John, and as much as of a fan we are, he's not just the owner, but he's a fan himself. And when you're sitting in his box and he sees Saquon Barkley, who we all heard those famous words in Hard Knocks, I'm going to lose sleep over him if he comes back and does something against us or he goes to Philadelphia. Watch him totally run roughshod over his football team. He's shaking his head. So the whole idea that Saquon can come up and do that, it's an embarrassment to him, and that does not sit well, and it rests at the feet of the head coach. All right. So if Dable isn't doing what they need to do, and they continue to get embarrassed, would John pull the trigger and say we can't go through this anymore? I think he would. I think enough is enough, and I think he would pull the trigger, and knowing that you're going to have to start from scratch at the beginning, at the after the year is over in the off season.
Absolutely. Eddie's saying Mara's tired of firing coaches after 3 seasons. Jody says Russ Wilson won't work because we don't have a running game. We have a rookie who's doing okay. He
Hmm.
is a rookie. Uh, and Cody hit on it. He said Malik Neighbors and Tyrone Tracy are the offensive high points. Got to build around them, but not holding his breath. Well, it's as long as Dable's our head coach, I'm not holding my breath neither because you never know with this guy. You know,
Yeah.
if Neighbors is open like everybody was saying he was, and he was, then why ain't Daniel Jones getting them the ball? Like was the target somewhere else? Is
Hmm.
that why they're not looking that way? Cody's saying he hated to see Barkley go, but he's glad he got out. He deserves to contend. Uh, Paul, you wanted to ask a question about Barkley. Why don't you ask that in the fans while Cody just
Yeah.
hit that? Well,
That's
segue right into that.
Thanks, Kenny. So, at least in the Northeast area, for those of us who were listening and watching and reading, a lot of back and forth during the week before the game yesterday about the Giant fans, how will react to Saquon. Initially, Saquon said, "Oh, they're not going to boo me based on my history with the Giants, my career. I did everything that I could." A lot of fans were reacting, burning his jersey in the parking lot and all of that stuff. My question to you and to everyone out there is it okay or correct or right for the Giant fans to boo Saquon? Uh, and if you watched the game or heard about the game, they were booing every time he touched the ball. So I guess, Kenny, what's your reaction?
Why not? Why not? Why am I going to cheer a Philadelphia Eagle? I'm not cheering the Philadelphia Eagles. If they wanted to, introductions, give them a little cheer, that's fine. But they chose to boo, and I have no problem with that. I might have been there with them. Where I do have a problem is fans burning jerseys in the parking lot, and the fans taking it to the next level. But booing is part of the game, and the fans have a right to boo or cheer, and they chose to boo. That's their decision, and I'm not lying. I might be right there with them if I was in the stadium. You went
Yeah.
to the enemy. I'm not going to cheer the enemy. The Eagles are the enemy. Yankees, Red Sox, switching sports. Are you going to boo? Are you going to cheer a player that goes to the Red Sox? Are you going to cheer a player that goes to the Yankees? No. Same with the Mets, Braves, or Mets, Phillies. You're not cheering the guys when they come play. Well, so I have no problem with it. And he probably will get booed for many, many games at Giant Stadium that he comes back.
It's funny. I'm thinking Yankees, Red Sox when Johnny Damon left the Red Sox to sign with the Yankees. I know a lot of Yankee fans were really mad about that. What was his nickname? They called him the idiots or something.
Something
So
like that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I know that was always a lot of pushback on that. But yeah, listen, you pay your ticket, you expect New York when you're playing on a New York team and you're doing well, fans will love you. Fans will do anything they can to support you. But you go to the enemy, you go leave that team and go to another team. Hey, you're the enemy now. So all is open to what the fans can do once you're especially wearing a Philadelphia Eagle uniform.
Eddie Murphy was saying, yeah, because he went to a rival. If he went to a team out of the division, he wouldn't have gotten booed. Agree. Cody was happy to see him home. Hates the Eagles, but he did so much for the Big Blue. Eddie
Hmm.
also chimed in and saying Bernie Williams almost went to the Red Sox. Thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah, I remember that.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, I'm happy, he's getting to play for a contender. I hate that he's with the Eagles, but, you know, good luck. I'll boo you when you come to see us, and, and that's it. But it's going to be a boo like one time. I'm not going to boo him a whole game. First time he touches the ball, I may boo him, or introductions, I'll boo him. But
Right.
Giant fans are sour, and we got right to be sour. We're bad right now, and we take our frustrations out on everybody and anyone when we're bad. And we fight amongst ourselves. I belong to a lot of group chats. I know Eddie's in some, and Paul, and we see it. And I ignore most of them, but some of them are really hard to ignore. And you do your best, but we shouldn't be fighting amongst ourselves. We'll eventually get better.
I have a question
Sure.
regarding yesterday's game. So, as bad as they played, were there uh, any stars or heroes of the game for the Giants?
On yesterday,
Yes,
no, there was no, there's maybe I got nobody. You could say Dexter Lawrence, but when you lose 28-3, I got no stars to the game. None.
agree, agree.
Cody likes the Tyrone Tracy. So do I, Cody. Uh, you know, as bad as we've been talking about all the bad today, Joe Shane actually had a pretty good draft this year. We didn't get a quarterback, which looks like the most important position, so he doesn't get an A for this draft. But I'll give him like a B minus. Above average. Tyrone Tracy, of course, Malik Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy, Dio Johnson, Mark Calderio called it if he's still in the chat. He seems to be getting better each week, and we said that early in the season. This kid's going to get better as the season progresses. Unfortunate touchdown called back. I'm not going to cry sour grapes, uh, but it's okay for a veteran to do it and a rookie not to do it. Okay, he got called back. It's a touchdown in my book. Kid's playing better each week. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. And Drew Phillips, can't say enough good things about this kid playing the nickel corner. So
Yeah,
could be Shane's saving grace is the draft he had. I don't know about Dable. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I like Tracy too. And Mark saying Theo Johnson and Tracy are getting better. Absolutely, I do agree with that. Uh, Paul, I mentioned the schedule, but why don't we get into? Is there anything? Maybe we beat the Panthers, and that's a maybe. I don't know right now. Like, who are we going to beat? The Commanders are playing. Instead of breaking down every game, I'm just looking at the teams we still got to play. We got to play the Ravens. We got to play the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Commanders one more time this year.
Hmm.
That could very easily be four more losses on this team. You got the Ravens, like I said. I'm trying to think of some other teams that we still got to play. The Falcons,
Yeah.
playoff team. This team's in a lot of trouble. We may be lucky to win 2, 3 games, and like I said, sell at the deadline and go all in on that quarterback next year because that's the most important position on your team is quarterback, and get one for the future. And follow the footsteps of Sims and Eli Manning and get that next one. We had some hiccups after Eli with Daniel Jones, but you know what? Now we can hit on the next one that we decide to go get.
Great.
Anything you want to add with that? Cody's saying thinks we can beat the Panthers. Eddie, any away game we have a chance because DJ doesn't know how to win at home. And that's a good point. He seems a
Yeah.
little flustered. You know, I just hate that we got all these primetime games and we got another one Monday night. So why don't we wrap up the show tonight with a preview to what we got going on? Unless you want to, is there anything else you need that we missed? I think we got everything that we
No,
wanted to talk
I
about.
think,
So maybe a little Steelers preview and any
yeah,
questions the audience has, we'll get to them as well.
yeah, that's fine. I think we beat that dead horse uh, regarding yesterday's game. Let's
All right,
move on.
so yeah, Monday night, another prime time game, and I don't know what to say, but Dable came out and said Daniel Jones is our guy next week. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it for one reason. We're 2-5. We got a left tackle that's blocking Jones's blind side, and Jones gets hurt. This team is done. This team is done for the next 3 years. Daniel Jones gets hurt. You could kiss any opportunity of getting rid of Daniel Jones next year away. He's owed too much money, and you're going to have a Russell Wilson type situation where you're going to have to release a lot of money on a team that's going to win 2, 3 games, and we're going to be bottom of the barrel for the next 3 years. Bench this guy, let Locker DeVito play, and lick your wounds. Let Jones sit on the sideline. Garoppolo did it last year. Why go out there and risk this guy getting injured on a team that's going absolutely nowhere and a quarterback that you're going to move on from next year? On the other side of the ball, you got the Steelers. Russell Wilson looked great. We'll see what happens Monday. We'll get some questions in after Paul gives his thoughts on the game, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we're expecting in this game. But I wish it was Locker or DeVito, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can only say the perfect storm is happening next Monday. You have a Steeler team with Russell Wilson, who had a fantastic game yesterday, number one. Number two, you have a team that obviously is going to still be quarterbacked by Daniel Jones, who I believe is now 1-15 in primetime games. Number three, the Steelers are unbelievable in night games and primetime games. I don't know what their record is, but they may have one of the best records in the NFL when it comes to Monday, Thursday, Sunday night games. So you have that not to uh, use this as a pun, but the confluence in Pittsburgh where the two rivers meet the third river. You're going to have the confluence of all these things happening as the Giants go into Pittsburgh to try and beat a red hot Steeler team that, as Kenny and I spoke, to steal a line from a New York Post writer, the Jets have had three head coaches probably in the next 3 months. The Steelers have had three head coaches in the last 50 years. So that says it all about the Steeler organization. And we wish the Giant organization was somewhat stable like that. And unfortunately, the way they're playing, this might be another turnover of the general manager and coaches, the way the Giants are playing. So I don't see this. This would be a major, major upset if the Giants somehow beat the Steelers next Monday night.
I like this from Cody. It's going to be bad. Steelers defense is no joke. Got to throw the ball. Put Tracy on screens. Spread the ball in the air. But I'm expecting the Steelers to destroy our already broken offense. I love the screen idea. I just don't see how we're going to have time, Cody, in my opinion, to throw the ball, to spread the ball in the air. You got one major problem on on that line in Pittsburgh. How the heck are we gonna block T.J. Watt?
Mm.
My opinion is you're gonna have to, and it's gonna take the ball out of the air, but you're gonna have to bring in blocking tight end Chris Manhertz and double team. See a lot of double teams on T.J. Watt. Though, unfortunately, I think that may take playing time away from Theo Johnson. But that's how I would protect Daniel Jones this week. Otherwise, you may see 10 to 12 sacks this week. So, and I'm not trying to be funny. It's
Yeah.
just, you know, if they line T.J. Watt over Azudu, they're going to have double-digit sacks, the Steelers as a team, because the other side will be getting through. They're going to blitz. This is going to be Daniel Jones is going to be throwing the white flag in after the first quarter. That's how bad it could be. Just Keith saying on Russell Wilson, people are getting way too hyped after one game of Russell Wilson. Could the Steelers sleep on the Giants? I don't think so,
I,
Paul.
no.
Keith,
I no.
yeah, no, I can have sleep apnea and I wouldn't be able to sleep on the Giants.
Yeah, no. Mike Tomlin will not allow his Steelers on a Monday night at home to sleep on the Giants. No way.
All right, Paul, we got a couple minutes left. Why don't we
I'll just say this: with the ties between the Mara family and the Rooney family, the only way the Giants would beat the Steelers if Rooney Mara quarterback the Steelers on Monday Night Football.
let's do a big if to wrap this up, and then we'll do prediction in our and then our closing thoughts. Big if the Giants were to win this game and shock the world, shock Paul and I, who is the offensive MVP and who's the defensive MVP in this game?
I guess somehow, I guess it would have to be Daniel Jones getting the ball to Malik and throwing a couple of touchdowns, maybe running one in. So I would say Daniel Jones.
Got to disagree. If we're to win this game, and I said it's a big if, left tackle's got to stop T.J. Watt, whoever it is. And that's going to be a big if because I don't see it happening. But if it did, you got to protect Daniel Jones. So if Daniel Jones is going to have a good game, it's going to be because this offensive line took a complete 360. So it starts with the left tackle who's blindside and blocking him. So I'll go that route. On the
Okay.
defensive side of the ball, I'm going to go somebody in the secondary. I'll go Tay Banks. I only say Tay Banks because of all the media hype this week. Everybody's seen that play he gave up on. I'll say he's going to be a difference maker, if anything. Shut down George Pickens, maybe get an interception, maybe even run one back. So Keith Thibodeau's out, Keith, wrist injury. So you want to go his replacement, Aziz Ujari or Brian Burns as the MVPs. Keith saying, get your chin up, boys. Yeah, Thibodeau went out with a wrist injury. For those who don't know, he had successful surgery. He'll be out a few weeks, probably about 4 to 6 weeks. And Neighbors is the MVP on offense for him. You got a defensive guy you want to call out?
I got to keep going with Sexy Dexy, the way he's been playing now. Best tackle in football, in my opinion. His actually 9 sacks now lead the NFL.
Fair enough. And then, you know what? I got one more quick hitter for the audience and you, Paul. We're going to do predictions. So I'm going to give you my prediction, your prediction. But in that question is because I have the Giants losing. So my question is going to be if the Steelers destroy the Giants like the Eagles did, is they able to survive the trip to London? So my prediction is going to be it's not going to be a blowout because the Steelers' offense is average. Okay, I think they'll shut down Najee Harris. The defense is actually decent on the Giants. Don't think they're going to allow 28 to 35 points. I'm going to go low scoring 20 to 10. Steelers beat the Giants. And Dable does survive London, but if they were somehow to lose to Carolina in London, he doesn't come back to New York. He stays and has fish and chips.
I'm going to go 27-13. A couple of field goals, and they'll get a touchdown, maybe a back end touchdown to make it close. But 27-13 will be my final. Pittsburgh winning easily.
Well, what's sad is my touchdown's going to be Tay Banks pick six on Russ. He's going to get
Mm.
caught on that quick slant. He's going to jump right in front of it and take it to the house for about 40 yards. That's going to be my prediction. Cody's going 24-10 Steelers, and he goes to London. Keith with the upset. Giants win 16-10. Thanks, Keith.
Wow.
Love it,
Your
Keith. Thank you.
optimism.
Uh, Michael, an update on Brandon Ayuk. The 49ers lost Ayuk's season-ending ACL and MCL in his right knee.
Yeah, I heard that. Heard about that.
So,
Unfortunately.
anyway, yeah. So, any closing thoughts, Paul? Again, congratulations to your Mets on a successful season. The Yankees
Thank you.
start Friday. I think it's what baseball obviously wanted. The Yankees and Dodgers, the two favorites in both leagues to get to the World Series. It should be good. Switching to baseball for a second. And NBA starts tomorrow. We're Knicks fans on this panel, so we're looking forward to the Knicks. Kurt Valenti, Knicks. I'm going to pass it off to Paul in a second, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Cody and Keith and Michael and Jody, Eddie Murphy, Mark Calderio, Giant fans. Things will get better. Good luck to the Broncos. We're rooting for you guys, Bronco fans. I know I missed probably a couple people that were on earlier. Try and find them real quick. Kurt was on, and Patrick over in Hawaii. Thank you, Patrick. Always appreciate you coming on. I know it was a big 8-hour difference there, so we appreciate you coming on early in the daytime over there in Hawaii. And aloha again, my friend. I will see everybody. We will see everybody next week, but I want to pass it off to Paul for the final words, and then we're going to sign off for tonight.
Yeah, it's been a rough go so far, but listen, we're Giant fans. We stick through thick and thin, and hopefully the the season uh, the season will play out, and we'll go from there. But I would be remiss in not congratulating the Yankees, the Yankee fans, getting to the World Series after 15 years. Congratulations to them. Good luck to the Yankees against the Dodgers. It should be a tremendous series. Watching the Dodgers the last week or so, they have a great team, excellent team. So it should be a fantastic. Uh, I think a long 6-7 game series. So thanks everybody for tuning in today. We're a little down, but all your questions and suggestions and responses really helped build a great show tonight. So thank you guys again.
Closing question, Paul. Got a minute left.
Hmm.
Keith wants to know if the season continues south, the one player you need to see more of is blank.
I think Tyrone Tracy. I want to see what he can do throughout the rest of the year if it starts to go south, and maybe we found a full time running back.
I like that answer. I'm going to answer in a different way. I want to see more Malik Neighbors. I want to see something I'm going to be excited about for the future. On a season going south, at least I can, have some excitement each game watching this guy make plays. So I want to see more Malik Neighbors and not him kept out of this offense. If he's double teamed, still throw the ball in. I want to see him I want to see him as a rookie of the year candidate going forward. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. We'll see everybody Wednesday. K&K